Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I am Anthony Gamer, and I'm Larry the Lion. And we want to thank you for returning, or if this is your first time, welcome to Classic Gamer 74. First off, I want to say thank you for sticking by. It looks like I still have all my subscribers, unless it's changed, because every once in a while YouTube likes to unsubscribe people from my channel. Yeah, I'm not sure why. Anyway, so I've been very busy. Obviously, I haven't posted anything in a couple months. I am in graduate school and I am teaching high school, so I don't have as much time as I used to have when I was working security, so that's the main reason. Regardless, I'm back, and I will try to post videos a little more often, as I'm going to have to use this format with the avatars for a while, as I'm just really busy and I don't really have time to use the camera. Not like any of you will really miss looking at us anyway. Hey, speak for yourself. I get lots of emails all the time, people complimenting me how handsome I am. Yeah, have you ever showed those to Lillian? No. Okay then. So, if this is your first time stopping by, great to have you here. I usually discuss vintage games or even newer games, as we believe here that it does not have to be old to be a classic, as there are some great games that have come out in the last few years that are already in legendary status. But a majority of the time, we do talk about older games from older game systems and computer systems. And if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, let us know by leaving a like and subscribe to our channel. It would mean the world to us. Also, don't forget that you can connect with me on all my social media platforms, but the best place to find me is on the Atari Age forums. Look for me on there with the handle Classic Gamer 74. Before I had to take some time off to do my day job, I was discussing the Intellivision game system, and I had been doing, I guess, a unit about different aspects of the game system. Yeah, this guy's a teacher, so he'll use words like unit and tests and quizzes and all that good stuff. I do sometimes, that's right. But as I will be wrapping up my unit on the Intellivision today, as we will be discussing Intellivision prototypes. So without further ado, let's get into the games. Are you ready, Larry? Oh yeah, you know I am. All right then, so let's get started. For those of you that are new to this channel, let me explain Intellivision itself. The Intellivision game system came out in 1978 and was made by Mattel. It's been probably the second biggest game system of the golden age of video games, which was the late 70s and into the early 80s, just behind the Atari 2600. But in a lot of ways, the Intellivision surpassed the Atari 2600 because of the level of gaming that you could do on this game system that you couldn't do on the 2600 or any that have come since. Critics and fans alike agree that the Intellivision had some of the best sport games from that time period. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Real Sports series by Atari, but even those didn't come close to the realism and the overall effect that you get from Intellivision sports games. The add-ons of the IntelliVoice and the keyboard took gaming to a whole new level, especially in the area of edutainment games. There are very few game systems before, definitely not before, or during that time and since, that can keep up with the greatness and the quality of the edutainment games that this system has. The amazing Intellivision is only comparable to its fandom, as I myself am a member of the Intellivision Brotherhood, and any person who's played an Intellivision will tell you that it is and was and probably always will be one of the best overall game systems of all time. And it's still popular today, as there are several homebrew programmers making their own games and some programmers that are bringing back games that were not released or were lost. So today we're going to be discussing prototypes. Now, what are prototypes? Well, according to Wikipedia, a prototype is an early sample, model, or release of a product built to test a concept or process. It is a term used in a variety of contexts, including semantics, design, electronics, and software programming. A prototype is generally used to elevate a new design to enhance precision among system analysts or users. In 1983 and 84, the video game world experienced what was called the video game crash. And when that happened, a lot of these prototype games for not just Intellivision, but for other game systems were canceled and were never released. So today we're going to look at these amazing prototypes which have finally been released as homebrew programmers, and even Intellivision Corporation have actually finished these games and have released them in various formats, whether they're on a cart or just as a ROM file. So let's check them out. And our first game for today is Airstrike. This was set to be released in 1982. It's a lot like that PC game Sopwith, if you ever played that. However, the game itself was not released. It is available on ROM format, and I believe some people have it out on cart. Like many of the games today, it can be found on the Intellivision Lives collection, but this one is limited to the PC and Mac version only. And next we have Brickout. Yeah, it's exactly what you think it is. This was set to be released in 1981. However, stories abound that Atari threatened a lawsuit or something. I don't know how true that is. But regardless, the game itself was not released. And for those of you not in the know, this is pretty much a clone of Super Breakout. You are trying to bounce that ball and destroy all the bricks at the top. This game is readily available, and it was featured on Intellivision Lives, but only on the PC and Mac version. And next we have Deep Pockets. Now, the story behind this is a little on the convoluted side, so I'm just going to tell you what I found from the research I've done. This game was set to be released in 1987, so it was going to be a late release for Intellivision. However, it wasn't released. Not until years later, as it, of course, now is available on cart. It can set you back a little bit, as it is kind of valuable, and it is available on ROM format as well. In this game, it's just what it looks like. You're playing pool, and I'll tell you, it's just amazing, especially for that time period, because the realism, the sounds, just the ease of play makes it a great game, especially if you were a little disappointed in some of the pool games from that time period before. Like many of the other prototypes on today's list, it is available on the Intellivision Lives program, and it is available on all versions, not just the PC and Macintosh version, which is a little hard to come by. I'm just warning you ahead of time, but it is on the PS2 version. So if you have a working PS2 or an emulator, or however you play your PS2 games, check this out and let me know what you think in the comments section below. Also, don't forget, before we get into the next game, we want to apologize about the flicker. You won't see this in the actual gameplay. It only does it in this video, so don't be concerned about that. And next up, we have Game Factory. This program was set to be released in 1983 and utilized the Intellivision add-on keyboard. I'm not sure how well it worked, as I just kind of messed around with it a little bit. If any of you actually use this program and were able to make games with it, let me know about it in the comments section below. I'd really like to hear about it. This is available on the Intellivision Rocks collection, as that one's a little on the rare side as well, and it was available for PC and Mac as well, but is readily available in ROM and cart format. And next up we have Hockey, which, as you can see, is an Intellivision clone of Pong. This is another one of those games, I believe, that didn't get released because of some copyright stuff, or I'm not sure exactly. The version you're looking at here is a version that we found online. I'm not sure if this was the original version of it that was created back in the early 80s. It is readily available on ROM format. I found it lots of different places. It does have sound, it does keep score, and has 1 to 2 players. So if those of you who were around back in the days of Pong would like to try this out, or if you've heard of Pong and never tried it, this is the version to try. Next up, we have Land Battle. This was set to be released in 1982. It is available on ROM format, and you can also find this war game on Intellivision Lives, but only on the Mac and PC version. So what you're saying is, if you want to get the complete versions of Intellivision Lives, you have to bite the bullet and either get the PC or Mac version. Actually, they're the same disc. We'll get the PC and Mac version. Yep. And get the PS2 one. Yep. Okay then. Or you could get the ROMs, or, like I said, purchase the cards. It's pretty much up to you. And next up, we have League of Light. This was going to come out in 1983, and it was an Activision game. This one has 3 distinct levels. We couldn't even get past the first level. It's a pretty cool game, very vibrant colors. Available, like I said, pretty much everywhere, and is available on the compilation Intellivision Rocks. And next up, we have the Party Line games. Now, there were going to be 3 of these on this compilation. However, none of them got released. I don't know if they were going to put them out as a single disc or if they were going to put each game out on an individual cart. I'm not really sure exactly. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with the term party games, these are games that are playable by more than one person at the same time. Nowadays, of course, this is done worldwide on newer game systems and computer systems. A good example of that would be something like Mario Party, which was first released on the GameCube, I believe, and is still going to this day. Now, the first game on this series is Hard Hat, and that's the one we're looking at right here. Now, again, I'm not really sure if this was actually supposed to come out in 1979. That's the date on the copyright date on the title screen. But anyway, in this game, you are racing against an opponent to see who can put all the glass panels on these buildings. Of course, you can sabotage each other, and it's possible to break the glass and get it cockeyed. It's really a lot of fun. If you don't have anyone to play with, you can play this game on your own, and I can tell you from personal experience that it is just hours and hours of fun. Really loved it. And it is also available on all versions of Intellivision Lives. The next Party Line game is Blowout. In this particular game, you and an opponent are shooting at these balloons and trying to pop as many of them as you can. This game was available on the DS version only, but it is a hidden game somewhere on the PlayStation 2 version of Intellivision Lives. If you've ever found it, let me know about it in the comment section below. And the final game in the Party Line series is Space Cadet. In this one, you and an opponent are trying to destroy each other's planets. The person from the ice planet is trying to ice up the hot desert planet, and vice versa. This game, however, is a little on the rare side, as it was only available on the Nintendo DS version of Intellivision Lives and on the Mac and PC version as well. However, you can pretty much find the ROM anywhere. It's a great game and an awesome game to fill out this trilogy of games. It's just a shame that they weren't released back in the day, because I think they would have been big hits. And next up, we have Robot Rubble. This was set to be released in 1983 by Activision. There are actually about 4 different playable builds of this game out there. This one is our personal favorite. In this game, you take on the role of this humanoid creature, and you're trying to blow up the robots. You have to get your aim exactly right and time it just right. And even if you do blow up the robots, they do come back to life sometimes. Initially, this game was released on the Intellivision Rocks compilation. However, you can find the ROM all over the internet, and also various versions of this particular game. I've always kind of wondered, if the game had been released, which version would it have been? We'd like to hear what you think in the comments section below. And next up, we have Takeover. This was going to be released in 1982. It's another one of those war simulation type games. This game was only available on the Windows and Mac and Nintendo DS versions of Intellivision Lives. But the ROM is pretty much available wherever you get your ROMs. And next up from 1983, we have Yogi's Frustration. In this game, Yogi Bear, fishing from a tree for picnic baskets, accidentally snags Ranger Smith's hat. As punishment, Ranger Smith puts Yogi to work on the Yellowstone, sorry, real life here, buddy. Oh yeah, Jellystone Park. I used to work there too. Yeah, I did. Okay, at the Jellystone Park conveyor belt. Help Boo Boo to get picnic baskets of goodies up to Yogi to keep him working fast. As this was a licensed title, Yogi Bear was a Hanna-Barbera character. More than likely, I think this game got canceled because the copyright might have ran out on it, or the licensing. It's hard to say. Again, it was from '83, so it could be just blamed on the video game crash. This one, however, it has been released on cart and is on ROM format as well, of course. I'm not sure if it was on the Intellivision Rocks collection, as I've been having a hard time finding the actual game, the full game list. But regardless, whether you're a fan of Yogi or you just like a fun platformer game, this one is for you. Alright, next up we have Grid Shock. This game was set to be released in 1983. However, not only was it not released, it also wasn't finished. It's pretty cool, I guess you could say a, what's the word? Strategy game. Oh yeah, thank you very much. You're right, strategy game. However, it is available in ROM format. I believe it's been actually finished now. You can play it on ROMs, and I think it's on a cart out there. But if you wanted to play it on Intellivision Lives, you'd have to get the Windows or Mac edition. If you were the kid in the 80s, you undoubtedly knew who He-Man was. Lots of boys were big He-Man fans. They had a line of toys and comics and a successful TV show, and they actually had a video game that was made by Mattel before. And it was so popular, it was released for the 2600. Well, they planned on making a sequel and called it Super Masters of the Universe, because nothing says sequel like super. Well, this is the demo, and I guess you're supposed to be He-Man beating up Skeletor and his minions, but unfortunately, there's no collision detection. Hopefully someday, someone will finish this game. And next up we have Hypnotic Lights. This game was supposed to be released in 1981, and by looking at the box, the mock-up box, I guess it was made for it, it was supposed to be a game played on the keyboard. I'm not really sure what this game was supposed to be, if it was a puzzle game or what. It is listed as being a technical demo, so I'm not really sure. The game itself was canceled, but I believe it's available on all of the versions of, Intellivision Lives, except for the DS version. And next we have Number Jumble. This game, you're cutting across fire in a time sailor, cruise underwater in a submarine, fly through the air in a zeppelin, or roll across the earth in a tank, but never stop firing at the dreadful creatures that beset you. You shoot them down, and then you'll open up some numbers, and then you can do some math problems. And these go from simple all the way to difficult algebraic questions and stuff like that. A really cool game, and it's a shame that it wasn't released. However, the game is available on ROM and cartridge format out there, and you can get it on the Windows and Mac version of Intellivision Lives. And our final game for today is Pole Position. Yeah, didn't you say a while back that this was lost media? Well, I had assumed it was, but then luckily I was able to locate a copy of the ROM, and then I found out that it had been finished, although it wasn't released back in 1983 when they were originally going to release it because of the market crash. And if any of you are not familiar with the game Pole Position, it's a racing game that was made by Atari. The game itself is a lot of fun, and honestly, this is a really nice port of it. If you were a fan of the arcade game, the 2600 version, You're going to love this. It's really a great game. Probably one of the first racing games a lot of us ever played. And this one is not available on any of the collections that I know of, but the ROM and I believe a cartridge are pretty readily available out there. Speaking of pole position, that and other games are the subject of our next episode, in which we will be discussing auto racing games. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. We really enjoyed bringing it to you. Oh, yeah, we sure did. We always enjoy it. Yeah, and I promise I will try to get episodes out more regularly. If you did enjoy today's video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and click that little bell icon so you'll be notified when I upload new episodes. And don't forget to leave some comments down below. We'd really like to hear what you have to say. Don't forget to connect with me on all my social media platforms. You'll find those linked in the description below. But again, the best way to find me and talk with me is on the AtariAge.com forums. Join up, and I will see you there. I use the handle ClassicGamer74. Also, to let you guys know, I'm not totally done with Intellivision. I have an interview with another homebrew programmer, and I will add games in as they fit the themes of the episode. However, we will be moving on to our next unit, which will be about the ColecoVision. So be looking in the next few weeks for episodes pertaining to that game system. And with that said, it's time to close the arcade. So, we will see you all in the next episode. Until next time, be strong, be safe, be happy, be healthy, and above all, take care of each other, be kind to each other, and stop hate of all kinds. I'm Anthony Gamer, and I'm Larry the Lion, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye. Goodbye, everyone.